AI overviews are changing the fundamentals of search. So, is search marketing still a thing? Is there still a marketing ROI when it comes to search? Well, to get some answers, I sat down with Lacey Reichwald from AHA Media Group. This is a conversation that's worth watching. Let's get to it.
Sway Help.
Lacey, welcome to the program.
Thank you. I'm really excited to talk to you, Colin.
We always have great conversations when we see each other at conferences. I'm looking forward to being with you here at your AHA Media booth. And we're going to talk about a very cool subject today, AI and search optimization.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that. But for the benefit of our audience who maybe aren't as familiar with you, Lacey, can you give us a little bit about you, your background, and a little bit about AHA Media?
Sure. So, Lacey Reichwald, I'm Director of Marketing at AHA Media Group, and I came to healthcare marketing from a multi-industry background. So, I really love taking what I've learned in other industries and applying it here. Patients aren't so different from customers. And at AHA Media Group, we focus on digital marketing, but with content as the center of that. So we really believe in the power of content and helping people find the information that they need to make the most important decisions that they have to make in their life.
Now, you guys do a lot of work with provider
We do.
organizations, but you also do some work with healthcare vendors as well, too.
Yeah, we do. And that's because it's all tied in. We work exclusively in the healthcare industry, but what we found working with hospitals and health systems is now we understand the clients of these solution providers really well and what their needs are. And it all rolls downstream to patient care, no matter where you are in that spectrum.
Well, I always enjoy your content. The stuff you guys do on social media is top notch.
Thank
So
you.
excited to sit down with you. But let's dive into it. Obviously, search has always been a big component of marketing strategies.
Yeah.
Lacey, in your mind, how is AI changing the nature of search and therefore the nature of your search kind of campaigns?
Yeah, it's changing really fast. It's kind of hard to keep up with it, but it's twofold. The first thing is how AI is changing the way that search results are being served up. So Google has completely changed. If anyone remembers it from 3 years ago, it is a completely different SERP now. All of those AI overviews at the top where Google is trying to match the searcher's intent and deliver the answers right there, which is creating an environment where people don't have to click through, and so they don't want to. And that leads into the second piece of it, which is that search behavior has changed. Because of AI, people are using longer tail keywords. They're searching with full questions. They're doing voice search. They know that they don't have to click through. They're looking for answers on social media. So it's sort of a cycle, chicken or the egg. The technology is changing and behavior is changing, and it's feeding into each other constantly.
And I think that's a great distinction you're making here, where a lot of times if you're doing a search online through Google,
Yeah.
you're looking for an answer. And therefore, you probably weren't clicking very often anyway in the past because you maybe were just looking at the summary.
Right.
But now AI is kind of removing that completely. It's abstracting it and putting it right at the top there. They go, oh, if you were looking for where to eat
Yeah.
in a particular city, it's going to give you 5 suggestions based on
Exactly.
AI,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And we've been moving in that direction for a while. Just as you said, I think that search behavior was changing even before the SERP changed, where you would read the meta description or you would get used to just checking the local pack and not even scrolling down to the results. And then people searching in places other than Google too. I don't think that the adoption is quite there yet where we have to worry about people searching solely in Chat GPT. Google's still the winner there, but the search experience changing on Google is going to make people more familiar with those kinds of tools in the future.
Right. And I think the other underlying thing you're talking about here is that search is not going anywhere.
Right. Oh,
It's
yeah.
just the nature of how we interact with search, the reasons why we might use search are evolving and evolving
Absolutely.
quickly with the introduction of AI.
Yeah, definitely. I think that as user behavior changes, what people expect to get out of search will change. And so those top of the funnel informational queries are the ones that can be answered right on the SERP. Now, as a brand, you want to show up there. You want your brand associated with that answer. And we're still figuring out how we do that. We found some solutions that help and some that we're still testing. But ultimately, where the biggest bang for your buck is getting those middle and bottom funnel keywords where people are looking to take action and get them to search and click through on those. Because that's where the actual conversion is going to happen.
Can you give me an example of what one of those keywords might be, those bottom
Yeah.
keywords?
Yeah, absolutely. So for on the provider side is the easiest one for me to think of. At the top of the funnel, someone might be looking for what is tinnitus or why are my ears ringing? And that's an informational search. You're going to get your answer right on the SERP. But when they're ready to take action and they're actually looking for a doctor to help them, it might be something like ENT in my area or, hearing specialist because they might not even know the word for it, right? Like what is the type of doctor who checks my ears might be that middle search. And then the bottom one would be ENT, best ENT in my area.
I like how you're positioning that because there are very few, I'll call it trusted, definitive medical resources out there. And I think we all
Yeah.
know who those are.
Yep.
And so to compete on that is very difficult to have your words and your reference come up when someone is searching what is tinnitus.
Yeah, absolutely. There's sort of like the top big three, we call them, that are in that space. And that's great because they put so much effort into
Sure.
being the trusted resource, and they are a trusted resource. I would much rather have them there than
Yeah.
someone with a Google PhD.
Exactly. But the lower ones you're talking about where now I'm actually at the point of needing care, wanting care, trying to find someone
Yeah.
local, that's where you want to come up in the search.
Absolutely. There's going to be less competition, first of all. You're going to be looking at keywords there that maybe aren't as high volume as you're used to. I think SEO writers and SEO content strategists are used to looking for high volume keywords, and that's not the name of the game anymore. Instead, it's what are the most intentional keywords? How is my audience searching for my solution? And go ahead and target a keyword that says it has zero volume, because that zero volume could really mean 15 people in your area per month, and who wouldn't want them? You want those 15 clicks.
Now, I'm going to ask you an obvious question,
Okay.
but I think it's needed in terms of your response. Lacey, what is the tie between search optimization and revenue?
Yeah, I think that it's often overlooked, especially in organizations that have sort of a competing sales and marketing focus. I'm a big fan of sales and marketing working together. And so it's really about getting people to find you who want to talk to you. Anyone in sales knows that cold outreach is so difficult. Only 2% of cold calls ever end in having a prospect. Something like I think you have to send like 360 emails before you get one lead. I mean, it's so difficult. And so the difference is that if you're putting yourself out there in a way that people who are searching for you can find you, then when they are ready for that conversation, they're most of the way there, which is the way people are making buying decisions anyway. They're most of the way through their decision-making cycle before they ever reach out to talk to an organization.
Yeah, let's be honest. No one's waking up in the morning, I'd like this kind of a solution today.
Yeah.
They're doing all this research ahead of time using other methods. And then when it comes time to looking at vendors specifically,
Yeah.
they already know.
Exactly.
They've already done that work.
And they're starting to see that brand recognition. Like, oh, when I was doing my research, I saw them on LinkedIn. I got an email from them. I saw them in that Google AI overview. And that brand recognition really, it reduces risk aversion. And then when they're ready for that solution, they're going to remember you.
Or I met them at a conference.
Yes.
I saw them at the booth.
Yep. That's all part of, people think about events as a separate marketing activity, but it's all part of the same interaction with that potential customer.
So, Lacey, when people think about search, what are some of the common mistakes that you've seen them make in implementing a search strategy?
Yeah, first of all, it's just going old school with that keyword strategy, looking for high volume keywords and then stuffing them into places where they fit. The other thing is, I think a lot of like 0-calorie content. I heard you say 0-calorie homepages at Sway recently, and I was like, oh, that's exactly what the issue is with this content. People get in this rhythm of like, we have to churn out X number of blogs every month to stay relevant. And there is such a glut of content on the internet right now. I would say quality over quantity over and over again. It's, yeah, quality over quantity.
Yeah, like, and with the rise of, ChatGPTs of the world and so forth, creating content is even that much easier now.
Yes.
But it's empty calorie, as we put it. It has to be relevant. It has to be aligned to what you offer. Just putting out content anymore is no longer part of the game, or should be part of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And because of all of that AI generated content, consumer trust is starting to go down. They're not sure anymore if something is written by AI or if it's written by a human. You can kind of tell if it's lacking the heart of a human writer. But this is where it's really important to do thought leadership, where your subject matter experts are penning articles or having them ghostwritten for them, but providing some real expertise that AI can't replicate and building up that trust and authority that way.
So Lacey, obviously search is changing quickly. It's going to be changing probably quickly for a while as we all get used to AI and the new rules of voice search and other modalities. How can we as healthcare marketers stay on top of all of this?
Yeah, it's tough. The first thing I would say to anyone who's feeling like they just can't keep up is you don't have to. Take a deep breath, pause, realize that you're an expert in your field, and then pick one thing that you want to pursue and understand and just take it a step at a time. Because if you subscribe to the news feeds that are telling you about how quickly AI is changing everything, it's just overwhelming. So that's the first thing. You don't have to be an expert to use this as a tool or to adapt to it. The second thing is follow people who are talking about it. So while, maybe don't pay attention to the crazy news feeds, self-select a few people that are talking about this and are bringing educated ideas to light. And it's just a good way to sort of like keep it in the back of your head. And then it's just about experimenting, taking the time to research or search for the keywords that are important to your organization and see what comes up. Go into ChatGPT and look up best CRM for individual physician practices if that's important to you, and see what comes up. And then try to figure out, where are the gaps that I can fill? What are the things that I can emulate here? And that's a great way to get started.
Now, Lacey, you've come out with a new ebook, and full
Yeah.
disclosure, we're partnering with you to distribute that ebook.
Yeah.
But what's in that ebook that is going to be so helpful for marketers?
It's a tome. Remember when I sent it to you and you were like, Lacey, this is so much content for an ebook. We need to call it something else. So it really is more like a playbook or a guide, a masterclass. It's 21 pages that goes through 7 different things that you can do, strategies that you can implement right away to start showing up in AI search results, to create content that people want to click on. And what I really like about it, if you are one of those organizations that has that push-pull between sales and marketing, so there's a lot of data in there to help make the case for why this is so important, why content is still really important to the revenue generating cycle, not just to being seen online.
I love it. And it is a great ebook.
Thank you.
I'm a little bit biased, but it is very, very good.
I'm very biased.
It is chock full of great recommendations and great strategies. And we'll put a link to that in the description of this video here, so people can go download it.
Perfect.
But Lacey, thank you so much for the information you shared today. It was wonderful. It's great to kind of riff on search.
Yeah.
It's still such an important strategy, as we've just talked about. So really appreciate that. Final question for you. Where can people go to find more about AHA Media Group?
Well, ahamediagroup.com is the best place, but we also won Best Use of Social Media at Sway Health Live, so you can follow us on LinkedIn too to get a taste of some of that.
Definitely would encourage people to do that as well.
Thank
Lacey,
you.
thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Colin. This was great.
I want to thank Lacey for all the strategies and comments that she shared. So many things to consider and think about when it comes to search now. It's definitely not dead, but definitely different. Now, full disclosure, we have teamed up with AHA Media Group on a playbook or ebook on this very topic. You can find it on the Sway Health website. Link in the description below. And by the way, that's Sway with 2 A's, .health. If you enjoyed this video, please mash that like button and click subscribe. I'm Colin Hung. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next episode.